Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a full-on dedicated life update chatty video. I have a lot of feelings all the time. If you're new here, my name is Molly. There's some exciting things happening. I have a plan, a next step for my life, which is more than I could say in the last 8 months. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you wouldn't know that I went to Utah. Hi, I'm going to Utah. Okay, so I just got to the airport. I got my little parking ticket. I decided to just drive to the airport. I don't know. I took a little vacation trip there. Very safe. I got tested for COVID before I left, of course. And yeah, I just needed it. Last flight, and then I'm in Salt Lake City. I went to see a few of my friends that live there. Actually, one of my best friend, Kyle, who I met in LA like 2 years ago at this point, actually lives in Utah now. So I went and visited him. I'd been to Utah, but never like experienced it. I've driven through it, flown into the Salt Lake City airport before, but never like actually been in Utah. And let me tell you, it is so beautiful. Yeah, I felt like I really needed it when I went. It came at the perfect timing. TMI, was dealing with a little bit of heartbreak, which is just beside me now, so we won't even get into that. I don't know, I wasn't feeling super great when I left to go, and I came back literally feeling the best I felt in a while, which is a lot to say because obviously this year has been up and down and up and down. And I finally came back kind of being like, I'm ready to like just get it going again. I think I've learned a lot in quarantine, and obviously it's not quite quarantine now because it's not like a stay-at-home order where I live, at least. I just, weirdly enough, am so happy that it happened for my life. I know it was obviously a traumatic, awful thing that happened, but I also think it did happen for a reason. And I think a lot of us grew, experienced what it was like to be alone. I learned, for me at least, that I am enough. And I know that that sounds so cheesy, but I felt like all throughout quarantine for a while, I was kind of just going person to person, trying to grasp on to anyone just because I was bored, I was lonely, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't really feel like I could work on something or be excited about anything else, but just like finding happiness in other people. And obviously that's not a way to live your life. You should be able to find happiness in yourself along with people. There's nothing bad about people helping, but I don't know, I didn't have it inside of me at the beginning. And so I grabbed to guys, I grabbed to, friends. I have so much to share that I wish I could on YouTube, but I don't think it's the time and place for it to talk about other people, because this is my channel, even though it's about my life, and these situations do involve me and my life. It also involves other people, so it is a little bit difficult trying to like find the balance of what I want to say without, getting anybody else involved in this weird sharing my life on the internet, which I love to do, but a lot of people don't. The truth is that I have just dealt with a lot of loss this year, and I haven't shared it, I haven't talked about it. A lot of it has even been in the last couple months, and my YouTube videos have been so on and off, and there is a reason for it, and I don't feel comfortable enough to share it, but I hope that you guys all know that even people that look like they're having the best time and like life is no different on quarantine during a pandemic, it's just so false. And even if there wasn't a pandemic going on, social media is a highlight reel. YouTube, people only share what they want to share, and that's the truth of it all. If you can hear my dog literally grunting, she is living her best life. YouTube is so weird in the sense of I feel like there have been times that I've overshared, and I feel like there have been times that I wish I could share more, and I wish I had shared more about a situation because I think it could have helped people, but just for my ego and my way of viewing myself, I didn't want you guys to view me certain ways of my mistakes, even though they could help people. And this is a situation that I so wish I could talk about, involving a best friend, and I just can't because it's recent, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I don't want to get anybody's personal life all up in my business or your guys' business because it's just not fair. Long story turned very long. I've been going through some shit, and it's been the last few months, I would say, actually, probably since summer, but realistically happening in, oh my God, beginning of May, I think, that this kind of all blew up, and it was very sudden, and basically just involving losing a friend that I just never thought I would lose, and for really a reason that I still can't understand because it's not really my problem, but I felt like it was kind of blamed on me. It's a lot, and it makes no sense when I'm trying to explain it because you guys don't know the story. But anyways, that is just a whole different topic for a whole different video, but this is just all kind of gearing up to why I'm telling you that Utah was just such a breath of fresh air during such a trapped, sad, depressing time in life, and that is overall just the pandemic and the state of the world. And it's just been such a year of personal growth, which I'm so happy to even be able to say that I feel like I've matured and I've grown, and I've, been able to handle situations that I never thought I would be able to handle, never thought that I would have to handle, and I come out stronger on the other side. And it always just feels so, it's just like God being like, you got this. Like, I am giving you I will never give you something that you cannot handle. And that's just been like so humbling this year. And a lot of what I'm saying doesn't even make sense, I'm sure, but I hope you guys are kind of getting where I'm going with this. I know this video is already going to be all over the place. Just guys that weren't good for me that I was trying to connect with when I was just trying to distract myself from myself and the boredom and the feeling like I was having a mental crisis about my own life. So I was trying to distract myself with so many things, and just like little things just blowing up in my face during the whole entire time. And moral of the story is I've just found myself, and I've found this like new, what's the word? I don't want to be like so dramatic and be like new personality or like whatever, but I just felt like this new strength inside me that I didn't really know I had. And that sounds so cheesy and so dumb, but I think this year has made me stronger than I've ever had to be, besides like just my anxiety and my OCD mental journey. This is like coming next in line, but I'm on the other side, and it feels so good. And it is crazy to look back on just the last 9 months, and look on like the person that I was who thought I just knew everything, and now the person that I am months later, and just think, wow, I know so much more now, and there's still so much that I need to learn. It's just crazy. It's crazy to look back on. You really can't plan for life, and that's something I think we have all discovered in 2020, that even if we have a plan for our life and we want to stick to it so badly, things are just going to come up, and there can't be a written agenda, because things are going to happen exactly the way that they're supposed to happen, and everything is going to come at its perfect time. And it sucks in the moment. You'll realize months later, oh my God, I understand. I get it. I get why I went through that. I get what I had to learn from that situation, and now I'm here and now I'm stronger and I'm just like better now. Like, I don't even know how to put it. What a long rant that was. I actually have my laptop here and I have notes on kind of what I wanted to talk about. Not really, but just like little bullet points of like subjects, because life updates are hard. Like, you just go off on random things, obviously. And so I always like to like plan it out like a little bit, and not one thing that I just said was on my notes. So like, let's get going. But I went to Utah and I had the best time. It was one of my favorite trips I've ever been on in my life, in my 20 years. I just needed to be in nature. I have been healing all year from things in LA, from things here with certain people, and that was just like my time after so long of just like dealing with everything and trying to work through everything, that I was just in nature at the top of a mountain, just like letting it all go. Like, it's come to the surface. I've dealt with it. I've come to terms with everything, and I just like let it go. Why am I like gonna cry? This is so dumb. I'm not gonna cry, but if anybody's ever been through that, like, it's just where you feel like you're at an all-time low, and then it just takes you months to just like heal and recover and, you know, deal with all of the feelings you're trying to feel but also trying to suppress, and then everything's finally at the surface. And now I'm standing at a mountain, like on top of a mountain in Utah with my best friends who are like the most supportive, like just been with me through my worst days. Some of the worst days I ever lived were in LA. Some of the best days I ever lived were in LA. But some of the worst days, like, Kyle was there just sitting next to me, crying with me. Like, it's just so crazy to think about. And now I'm just a completely different person, not to be dramatic. Just being like, everything in time, all good things, all bad things must come to an end. And this is where I let it go and I move on with the next chapter of my life. And everything in LA I experienced, everything in quarantine this summer, awful things that I had to go through, like, it just is behind me now. And that is so, like, literally fresh air to breathe in after everything. Just to be able to confidently say, like, that is okay that that happened to me, and I'm no longer holding it against anyone the way anyone treated me. I am okay with it, and I forgive anyone, even if I didn't get an apology out of it. I love myself enough to not want to carry that for forever. Wow, that was really deep, and I'm glad I'm keeping it together because I really am happy. And I don't know, I just needed that trip so badly. It was so short. It was like 4 days and I was out, but the difference it made was like 0 to 100. And the timing, like, God's timing is just so insane. And if you're not religious, just listen, because coincidences are not a thing. Like, it's literally God's perfect timing, and it's crazy. And life is just crazy. And it's beautiful, honestly. And with all that being said, I don't really like that it sounds like I am complaining. I don't want it to sound like that, or that I'm saying, oh, my life has been so hard. The truth is that we all have hardships, and I don't want to sit here and say, I went through this, I went through this. Like, it's not about that. It's about your mental health, and obviously, you know, everybody's going through something always, and everyone's feelings are valid, no matter how big or how small it is. This year is just a really hard year for everybody, and I just wanted to say that I don't want it to be like, oh, feel bad for me. My life has been really hard, and now I'm okay. Like, I'm so strong. I dealt with it all. I don't know. I don't want it to be like that. Like, I'm not like sucking my own ass. Like, I am so damn strong. I think it's also been a wake-up call in the best way that the people that want to talk to you will talk to you. Like, who are the people that are actually taking time for you? Because that's been really eye-opening to me too, is just, I'm so blessed to have my family, and I'm so blessed to be here with my family and not be in an apartment all by myself or just feeling super lonely somewhere in a big city without anyone, because that's what it would have been literally if I was still in LA. I'm just such a family girl, and I feel like some people, including myself when I was living in LA, are so focused to like career driven, money driven, you know, follower, popularity driven, and that's all fine. Career driven is great. Determined, everybody wants to be successful. That's a great goal. But when it really comes down to situations and life, like this year, you just realize that like everybody really just wants to be happy. And a lot of the things that people try to strive for aren't the right things that are going to make them, you know, feel happy in the end. Life is all about the people and the way that people make you feel. And I think hopefully this year taught everybody that, because I feel like some people just get to the end of their lives and they only have $1 billion and a company and they're still not fulfilled. And it's really crazy to think that it's literally all about the connections and the relationships that you have with people that you love and who love you. I am yet to share about my whole anxiety story, therapy, all of that, just because I don't even know where to start, if I'm gonna be honest. But I don't know, I feel like that was a very crazy experience, learning who is like ride or die. It's in those situations that people will either like help you and cling to you, or they just won't want to be there for that. And I've also realized that it's sometimes okay if you can't be there for people during their hard times, because I'm very much of a person that if someone that I care about and love so much is going through something awful, I feel as hard as they do for it. And that's an awesome quality, but it bites me in the ass every time, because I am sad for days just for them. And, you know, it sucks when you like put a lot of your happiness in somebody and you kind of rely on them to fill your tank with happiness as well, like you are with them. But then they go through something that's kind of crappy, or I don't know, they just don't care as much, I guess, or they're not putting in as much as you are, and you're always left on empty. I feel like that's me in every single relationship I've had with a guy. And I'm also just at this point, this is such a side note, but the next person I date, I'm going to marry. I'm over dating. I feel like I go for the crappiest guys. I have the worst taste in men. I'm gonna be 21 in a couple months, and I probably won't get married for a couple years, but I'm over pointless dating. Next person I date, I'm gonna marry. I'm vowing for it. That's such a side note and so random, and like you guys don't need to know that, but that's a fact. Can we talk about how I wrote all these notes and I haven't, like, obviously it's not happening. This video is all over the place. The point of this, the life update portion of this, the next step of my life and kind of figuring out what I want to do. I have ideas. There's just so much that I want to do, and that's awesome that I have so many passions and I love to do so many things and I'm so interested in so many things, but it also makes life the hardest because I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do first. I don't know how to plan out my life where I'll be able to fit everything in. And obviously the last 2 years / life until this point, I've kind of just done whatever I wanted. And whether that was including randomly moving to LA when I had no plans. I'm not a planner. And I think I used to be very type A. I want to know what's happening so that I don't waste any time, that I do the right things in the right order at the right times so that everything falls perfectly. And within the last 2 years of moving to LA and kind of just doing whatever I wanted, not knowing at all what I was doing, I've become the most type B person. Because when you're living in LA and you don't know what you're doing, there's no way you can plan for anything because life comes flying at you all the time, 24/7, 70 miles an hour every minute of every day, which was so fun, whether it came to saying yes to going on a trip last minute, whether it was moving to like 4 different places in 1 year, signing a way overpriced lease and paying so much money, not even knowing when I was signing the lease where I was gonna make the money. I've just kind of always been the person that does what I want and then I figure it out. This quarantine has been really rough because I'm like, I don't want to have a plan and I don't want to be able to like have to stick to something. I hate commitment when it comes to things that I am like interested in at the time. If I'm interested in something, I want to try it. And if I don't want it or I don't like it, I want it to be a like instant. I can say, no, sorry, I'm done, or just move or walk out or do whatever. I just always want to be happy and I always want to be doing what I want to do. Something that really threw me off from going to school, because everybody was like, Molly, why don't you want to go to college? Why don't you want to, expand your education horizon? And I never once wanted to go to college. That's a fact. I never was interested in college. I had no idea what I was going to study if I went to a 4-year school. And just the idea of a 4-year school to me, like I get anxiety thinking about it, just being trapped. Not that you can't leave school, but also like there's this standard, I feel like these days, of like if you go to school, like you go for 4 years or like you're like a dropout, which whatever. But I don't know, in high school that like gave me a lot of anxiety. I was like, I don't want to be known as like the person that like tried to do school and then like hated it, or like my anxiety came back full-fledged, because my anxiety is stemmed, it is rooted from school. And I know that in high school and middle school and elementary school, the whole time. So awful. And so obviously the second that I graduated, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm doing whatever I want to do, because I have been trapped in this school for so long. And don't get me wrong, I'm so blessed to have been able to get an education. I'm so blessed to have been able to go to school, but it just was not for me. And it made me mentally the worst place that I've ever been. So instantly, of course, I'm like, I'm not going to go to college. Fast forward 2 years later, I am thinking about my next step, and surprisingly, I am thinking about school, and it's not a 4-year college degree. I'm not gonna say what it is yet. You guys can probably guess, but it's not a big commitment, which I love, and I'm also I've been passionate about it for as long as I can remember, and I'm really excited. And I'm kind of nervous to talk about it because I'm like, I feel like I like to talk about things after, so I don't like shoot the gun. Is that the phrase? Jump the gun. So I don't jump the gun. So yeah, that's my next step. I'm seriously considering it. It's not a 100%. I don't want anybody to be like, she is going to school, because obviously I change my mind 100 times a day. And it's like, yes, I want to. No, I don't think I want to. Do I really want to? I totally want to. And I'm like, no, you don't. Oh my God. But I definitely want to. I will say that, at least for right now, that's where I'm at. And I think right now is the perfect time, just because the world is kind of like not moving like it's normally. And I don't know if it will for the next year. So I'd love to just like have something planned instead of just like waiting for something to come to me. If you know me, you've probably heard me say this, because I've just always said this since I graduated high school. I always said, I just don't want a boring life. And it's so funny, like looking back on like 18-year-old me saying that, now being 20 and almost 21. I have had literally the least boring life, and just from the time that I graduated, I have literally lived life to the fullest. And I say that with confidence that I'm doing exactly what I want to do. And that's like just so fulfilling, and just not give a shit about what anybody else thinks and just say, screw it, I'm just gonna move to LA. It is Thursday morning at like 6:45, and today is moving day. I can't believe that today is here. I cannot believe that I'm doing this. I'm just gonna sign the lease. I just got into my new apartment. I cannot believe that this place is mine. I don't even know what to say. I'm just going to go on the trip. Good morning, New York. This is what we're looking like today. Looking so pretty outside right now. I just always have done what I want, and it's just so fulfilling, like looking back on it and now being in like a totally different chapter of my life. I'm just being like, wow, I can continue to do everything that I want to do for the rest of my life. Forgive that I don't have a nail also. I was like literally just like gross. If there's something I want to do, I'm just gonna do it. I always make it happen. If you want something bad enough, you just make it work, and so fun that way. I love life. I love having fun in life. I think life is just here as a temporary life before better things when we die. It's just too short, and I've always thought that. Even when I was 18, I was like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Even when I was young, when I did YouTube and people were so mean to me in school, I was like, I'm just gonna do what I want. Like, at the end of the day, I don't care. As I get older, I care less. I just get bored really easily. Like, I need something new, I need something fresh, because I'm bored. And even though I felt this quarantine like, oh my gosh, I'm just so bored, I don't want to live a boring life, I feel like I'm wasting a year, this year was so crucial. I feel like the last 3 years of my life have been the most learning, and now I like look back on it and I'm like, thank God. Like, wow, I didn't know this for 20 years, and now I'm really happy that I do. Thank you, quarantine. And actually, I really enjoyed a lot of quarantine, and I was as productive as I could be, and I'm very proud of that. And now I'm here, I'm back, I'm ready to get back to it. Like, I'm in Wisconsin, for God's sake. Like, I'm seeing the leaves change and fall. Like, it's been 2 years since I've seen the leaves change, and I'm like, where the heck have I been? And now that I'm back in Wisconsin, now I'm moving, and I'm actually not gonna live in Wisconsin. I think I'm moving to somewhere colder, actually. I don't know, most of the time I think nowhere is colder than Wisconsin. It is so cold here, but I'm like, that's been a good 8 months, and now I'm just like on to the next. I'm so excited. So it's just a plan right now, and I'm the most indecisive person. I'm just so happy. If I would have told myself in January of this year that I was going to be moved out of LA and doing what I might possibly am about to do, that didn't grammatically make sense. But I would literally never believe myself. I would never believe myself. I would laugh. I'm very much like the happiest I've been in a really, really long time. And the crazy part is that it's happiness without the people that I thought I needed to make me happy. Like, months ago, blaming God for taking them out of my life, and now months later, it's like, God's like, do you understand now? And I'm like, it's like miracles in front of your eyes. And I'm also not gonna cry again. Like, you know, when you're so happy and you could just like cry for no reason besides the fact that like you literally are just like, so like you've just been through the shit, and now you're just here on like the other side being like, I never thought I could get through that, and now I'm here, and the sun is literally like gonna go down, and I've been talking for so long. This is probably the longest video on my channel. I honestly bet it is. Life is just so crazy, and I'm just so lucky and blessed to be living in it and chosen to be a part of it. And I could talk about this for hours, but I need to end this video and just say that I love you guys, and I love that I have a place on YouTube where I can just like talk about my life. I will always come back to YouTube because it was truly my first love, and I've loved it. It was love at first sight, baby. So happy I like sucked those few tears back into my eyes because I would have never forgiven myself. Go follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll put my Instagram right here too, or right here, or like right here or something, somewhere. Or it's always down below too. So I'm gonna try my hardest to post 2 videos a week. I want to say that, but I also don't want to make commitment. Oh my God, just talked about this. I hate commitment, but I also love YouTube way too much to not have some sort of goal for uploading because I love to film and it brings me joy, and sometimes I forget that. I want to try to do 2 days a week. If I can't, I will do 1 a week. I don't know if I should set specific days. Can I talk? I don't know if I can set specific days because sometimes it just, most of the time, it doesn't quite work out like that. I love you. I'll be posting many videos coming soon. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. TikTok, Instagram, killing it on there too. I love you guys forever, to the moon and back. You guys mean the world to me, and thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys in my next video.